that divorce, the data is clear that divorce doubles when porn is involved. And so then now you think about couples who see this as a way of bringing excitement and bringing fulfillment to the bedroom, but yet the data says that divorce doubles as a result of that. And so how do we
Yes.
convince these couples that these you don't see the underlining and unintended consequences that are coming from this temporary fulfillment that you've invited into your bedchamber?
So what happens is a lot of couples start out together,
Mm,
and it may be a joint decision. It may be something we're going to do to bring some excitement into the relationship. So they may start out together,
hmm.
but they don't end up together, right? Because at some point along the way, inevitably, somebody is going to venture off into solo pornography use. And so, with all good intentions on the front end to do something that both people are going to enjoy, it's going to bring some excitement. At some point, inevitably, somebody ventures off into solo pornography use. And so, when that solo venture occurs and becomes problematic, which it typically does, then you have a break in trust, you have a break in intimacy, you have a break in transparency, you have a break in communication. And so what starts out as something good inevitably turns into something bad. So it's like planting a seed. That seed is definitely going to grow.
Hmm.
You don't know exactly how it's going to grow.
Hmm.
And what I liken it to, I always give people the analogy, about eating and health. I make the analogy that, we start out, we eat what we want to eat, we do what we want to do, we don't want to exercise, we eating all this unhealthy stuff, and we feel really, really good in the moment.
Hmm.
20, 30, 40, you can eat whatever you want to eat, you're going to be fine. 50 hits, okay? The blood pressure goes up, the diabetes steps in, the joints get a little bit creaky. We don't know what we don't know. And when you invite pornography in on the front end, feel good, taste good, look good, just like the food.
Hmm.
But we don't know what's 10 years down the road.
Hmm.
And just like our health is negatively impacted 10, 15, 20 years down the road, the same is the case with marital relationships. And even if you're not married, you can be single, right? But you have the mindset of pornography use. And as a single person, you take that mindset of pornography use into your relationship. We call it sexual scripts, right? And so, like, you talk a lot about your grandfather and how he gave you a template of manhood. He gave you a
Hmm.
template of responsibility. What you saw in him, you wanted to replicate in the type of man that you were. Okay. And we use that analogy of what we put in is what you get out. But we don't want to use that when it becomes pornography and things that are pleasing to our flesh. It is
Hmm.
the exact same. So when you watch pornography as a married person or as a single person, you are creating what is called a sexual script. You are learning things, you are seeing things. Those things become your norms and your expectations. Well, if we do it like this, we're going to get this outcome. If you say these words, you're going to have this response. And so we don't realize that what we're putting in is what we get out. We don't realize that we're creating sexual scripts. We're giving our brain and our bodies templates that we unintentionally are then looking for later in life. So it doesn't matter if you're single and you're trying to, self-satisfy now temporarily because you're
Hmm.
not married. You are still creating a sexual script
Hmm.
of what sex is supposed to look like,
Hmm.
what sex is supposed to sound like, all those types of things. So
Hmm.
even if you're single, when you get into a relationship later, you have that script in your mind of what you think sex is supposed to be. And if you're married, you're opening up Pandora's box for comparison, even though you say
Hmm.
that you're not. You're setting up a thing for comparison. And men specifically, you guys are more visual. So when
Hmm.
men watch porn, it is a ongoing movie reel
Wow.
in your mind because those images are there. It's like we can't unsee it.
Hmm.
Women, for some reason, our brains process differently. It's
Hmm.
kind of like we can unsee it. We don't hold on to those images as long as men do. But men are very visual. And when you guys look at things, you have that image in your head. And so it's an ongoing movie reel that's played out over and over again.
Hmm.
And what women oftentimes say is that over time, they start to wonder, am I just a warm body? Is he really thinking about me? Is it the image of me in his mind right now, or is
Mm-hmm.
it the image of somebody else? Because
Mm-hmm.
men hold on to those images.
Mm-hmm.
So it may take a year, it might take 2 years, it might take 10 years, but somewhere down the line, that seed has been planted, it grows. That script has been developed.
Mm-hmm.
You revert back to that. And so all of those issues of insecurity, I mean, you can start out really insecure in your relationship, right? We're real secure. We don't have any issues. We go do this together. It's not going to be any issues. Somewhere down the road,
Mm.
the literature shows that it changes.
Wow.
And so what is happening is that people don't understand that they are planting a seed. They don't know what they don't know, but the literature does clearly show that down the road, what starts out good does not end that way.